from it. Destiny arrives all the same. Historic Santa Monica Pier is the final stop on the road to the Arnold Strongman Classic in March. Today, it's the Arnold Strongman USA, and we are set to kick things off with event one, the clean and press. Thanks for being here with us, everybody, on the Rogue Iron Game. I'm Sean Woodland alongside Dr. Bill Crawford. Margo Alvarez is on the competition floor covering things for us here today. But in case you missed the pregame show that we had a little while ago, the big matchup today between Martins Licis and Brian Shaw. They have to win to get in. One of them is not going to the Arnold Strongman Classic. What are their biggest strengths?
Well, today, Brian's going to have to draw on his experience because Brian has been around for a long time. He's going to have to really dip into the well. He'll be physically ready and he's mentally tough. Those are his strengths. Martins has a big motor. In other words, he can compete really strong for a long period of time and comes on more strongly as the events unroll. The other thing, too, frankly, this is a hometown crowd for him.
That's a good point. As we head into event number one now, start with Brian Shaw. What does he like about this event?
Brian's done clean and press many, many times, and he did have a strong showing last year with the clean and press with a log. It's an event that he's trained a lot and has been very good with.
Let's go to Martins Licis now. He was impressive in this event last year when he won this whole competition. What does he like about the clean and press?
He's great at it, and again, we talked earlier about an injury that he had, but he's had terrific training. He did a strict press with 315 pounds with a barbell for reps. And I can tell you, if you can do that, a log will not feel that tough because that's a really tough thing to do, is to do strict pressing with a barbell.
Event number one is the Slater Log Clean and Press. We'll say this a lot today. Obviously, you have to be strong to lift that thing, but what are the keys to be really successful at it?
You want an efficient pull up to your chest. In other words, you can't really spend a lot of time trying to get it up to your chest because that expends a lot of energy. The second thing you want to do is as you press up, you want to push back because the implement's so far in front of you and your hands are several inches in front of your face, unlike a barbell. The other thing, too, is that you really can't push so much with your upper chest. It's really on the middle of your chest.
Brian Shaw, again, we mentioned, has to win to get himself in. He's been to the Arnold Strongman Classic 10 straight times. We'll get to him in a second. He is going to be one of the 13 men competing here today. Let's take a look at the competitors' order for event number one. Gerry Pritchett is going to kick things off, and then he will hand things off to the next athlete. But 13 men here in this first event. If we have the starting order, Gerry Pritchett will be leading that off. But let's talk Brian Shaw here really fast. I know you're going to be watching him really closely. Why?
Again, this is his last chance to get into the Arnold Strongman, the most decorated strongman in the history of strongman from the U.S. And I really would love to see him come back and challenge again for the Arnold Strongman Classic because he could actually have 3 and go to 4 wins, and then he wants the momentum for the rest of the season. I'm not ready to watch Brian step away.
10 straight times at the Arnold Strongman Classic in March. Gerry Pritchett up first, and Brian Shaw will be fourth. Martins Licis is 8th. Now, I know that's not last, but it is later, and that gives him a little bit of an advantage here.
Well, he'll get to see how many reps he has to shoot for. It's sort of like a little bit further. If you only need another foot, another rep. The other thing, too, is that strongmen are trying to conserve their energy because they say, oh, it's just one more rep. But just like a lot of sports, and particularly CrossFit, you can hit a wall. That one rep can expend the amount of energy that really takes you away from doing your best in the next event.
Well, Gerry Pritchett is getting set to take the floor. Pritchett is a guy who is relatively safe in the point standings. He still has some work to do here in order to get himself to the Arnold Strongman Classic, but he has 26 points in the point standings. That is currently second behind Matjaz Belsak. So Pritchett needs to get a little bit of an insurance policy here with his performance at the Arnold Strongman USA to officially get himself to Columbus, Ohio.
Yes, he does, and I think that a really strong start right here. He wants to set the pace. He's going to really gun this. I want to see, I think getting 5 to 6 reps would really set a pace. Only 60 seconds for these athletes. Just to put it in perspective, 385 pounds just 16 or 17 years ago was the world's record.
Right.
And here we are in a qualifier with a 385-pound log. How many times can you clean and press it in a minute? So that just puts it in perspective how much strongman's come and how far it's come, and the fact that this is a world-class weight. There's no question that this is going to be a big event for Gerry.
380 pounds on the Slater log. He has 60 seconds to do as many repetitions as possible. Pritchett has been at the Arnold Strongman Classic in Columbus, Ohio every year since 2013. His best finish was third in 2017. Wow. So 1 rep good for Pritchett.
Very good. Notice how he just rolls it up and gets it up on his chest quickly.
Second rep is good for Gerry Pritchett.
Again, this is a little bit different. You have to clean at each rep, so that takes a lot of your shoulder power to get it up, and your arm strength and back strength. So it's not just repping out with it once you get it up. You got to keep moving with it.
Now, as they get weaker, as they move through these reps, as Pritchett goes for his third, what are the things they really need to pay attention to?
Well, where it really hits you is right in your midsections. Look at that. He got the lockout. He's actually getting stronger. I think that was a more solid rep than the second rep. Plus, too, you'll see a guy be shaky on a rep, and the next rep's better because they're actually finding that groove.
3 down for Pritchett. This is his 4th attempt in that 60-minute window, 60-second window, and he just can't quite press that one out. So far, 3 reps for Pritchett, and he's going to step away. A solid start for the man from Phoenix, Arizona.
Very solid start. Very impressive.
Gerry Pritchett leading things off with 3 reps, and you mentioned that his third one actually looked better than the second. What specifically did you like about that?
Well, he looked like he got his groove. He was a little bit out in front with the second one, and then that expends a little bit of energy. So it's really impressive to be able to come back. Good efficient clean. Right up, he's done a lot of these presses. Pushing up and then back. Excellent technique. Great technique. I'm sure he's happy with that, but I know he'd like to have a little bit more.
3 reps, a solid score for Gerry Pritchett. Up next, out of the United States, is going to be Wesley Claiborne. He's looking for his first career appearance, I should say, at the Arnold Strongman Classic in Columbus, Ohio.
I like Wesley. He reminds me of Benedict Magnusson, the great strongman from Iceland. He just has that approach, that look. He's a minimalist. He doesn't put on a lot of gear. He just comes out and does it.
First attempt for Wesley Claiborne, and that was easy.
Uh-oh, he's pulling the Kaliskowski. Remember that last year?
I do remember that. This looks exactly the same. 2 down quickly for Wesley Claiborne.
World record holder in the keg over a bar with 520 pounds. So handling an implement up high like that. Wow, 3 reps.
So 3 is down for Claiborne. Now he's gone out quickly. He has 60 seconds. How important is pacing here?
Well, pacing is somewhat important, but you only have 60 seconds. That's really not a ton of time.
4th attempt for Claiborne.
There we go. Now he's going to have to go up. Well,
still plenty of time for Wesley Claiborne. He got 3 quick ones. He's tied with Gerry Pritchett for 3 successful reps, and he's going to call it. So Wesley Claiborne and Gerry Pritchett now both with 3 successful repetitions. And Claiborne's in the same boat as Brian Shaw and Martins Licis. If he wants to get to the Arnold Strongman Classic in March, he's got to win this entire competition.
Yes. I wonder if he expended a lot of energy that maybe if he had just pulled it to his chest and pressed up from there, he would have had that 4th repetition, because every single repetition is absolutely crucial as we try to sort out the competition.
So far, 2 men have gone. Both have successfully lifted that Slater log 380 pounds 3 times. Aleksey Novikov is due up next. Now, Novikov is playing with house money. He is already qualified for the 2020 Arnold Strongman Classic. Did that as the 2019 Arnold South Africa champion. A youngster out of Kiev, Ukraine, just 24 years old. Last year in his debut in the pro division at the Arnold Strongman Classic, he finished 7th, and he had a couple of really impressive performances in events at that competition.
He actually won the Husafel carry, kind of shocked everybody. It'll be interesting to see how this young man, who's a fairly young competitor, will come out. I mean, this is $10,000 on the line. It is a professional competition. How much gas does he want to expend here? He always surprises us, though. He came in 7th last year, and that was after not being able to participate in one of the events.
Novikov hits his first rep.
Excellent. He's very, very efficient movement up to the chest. He's done his homework.
2 are good.
I think he's good for 4. Let's watch. Shorter athletes tend to do a little better in this event, frankly.
Why is that?
Just less distance to cover upwards. Uh-oh, here we go.
Now Novikov starting to struggle with the press.
Oh,
He's not quite able to lock that one out.
I was impressed with the first 2. I'll tell you, you know where it really hits you? You think it hits you in the shoulders? It really hits you more in the midsection. Smack in the middle of your abdominal muscles. That's where it really tests you.
One more attempt now for Aleksey Novikov. He has 2 good ones. This is his 4th attempt. And Novikov can't quite lock it out, and he's going to be done. So Aleksey Novikov now slides into 2nd by himself, as Pritchett and Claiborne are both tied at 3 good reps.
Who's going to be the guy that gets that 4th rep or that 5th rep? Excellent job, efficient lift to the chest. Great power overhead. He pushes it really quickly up and back. But just as we said earlier, conserving your energy is very important. You looked really strong in those first 2 repetitions.
And that will bring up Brian Shaw.
Brian
trying to keep his streak of consecutive Arnold Strongman Classic appearances alive.
I think Brian's going to be good for that 4th repetition. Just his sheer body mass, even though he's a taller athlete, he's done a lot of this. I saw him in training. He pressed 505 pounds close grip on the bench press really easily. That's not this event, but it speaks a lot to his upper body strength. His pressing power is excellent. I think he's actually a 600-pound bench presser, and he doesn't even really train it that much.
Now, knowing the situation he is in of having to win this entire competition, what does he have to do here in event number 1 in order to mentally stay in things here?
Well, if he could finish in the top 3, which would put him further, deeper in that order for the 2nd event, mentally that's a huge bump, because then he can start to gauge the competition. For the farmer's walk, you need that extra inch. This is absolutely crucial, this fast start for Brian. It's crucial for all the athletes, but we keep talking about Brian and the fact that he's a perennial favorite.
Brian Shaw discussing some things with his coach. What do you think the 2 of them are talking about right now?
Get that thing up. I mean, this is just there's nothing really technically to say about this. He's done thousands of these repetitions. This is a weight he's well capable of doing. And last year he showed his pressing power still right on par at the World's Strongest Man competition. This is something that he's very schooled on.
From 2013 to 2018 at the Arnold Strongman Classic, Brian Shaw either finished 1st or 2nd.
That's a stranglehold on competition. And it's a little discouraging because he just coolly comes up, oh shucks, and he nails it. He's got some fire in his belly today. I'm really excited for Brian, actually. This is an opportunity to show that he's got it and still got it.
60 seconds for Brian Shaw. 3 successful repetitions, the score to beat. Shaw taking his time, setting up for the press here. And the first one is good.
Good rep. He needs to at least get 3 to stay in the pack.
Now with an implement this heavy, when you spend that much time trying to balance it, how does that affect you for the next rep? And now the second one looks to be struggling a little bit here.
He does. This is shocking.
The second one is good, though.
It is. It really starts to take toll if you hold that thing too long in your chest. You want to get it up to your chest quickly. You want to set yourself and get it over your head. This will tell the tape for Brian today.
3rd attempt for Brian Shaw. First of 5 events here. And
there
that is good. Brian Shaw now tied for the lead with Gerry Pritchett and Wesley Claiborne.
Come on, Brian, get that last rep. That was it.
So Shaw's done. He is tied for first right now in this event, so a solid start for him. But
solid start.
We still have 9 competitors to go here. So Brian's going to have to sit and wait and hope that 3 reps is enough to at least keep him in the top 2 or 3 here.
A little disappointing, I think, for him because he wanted to get that great start. Really fishing up to his chest, but you see that he actually had kind of wobbled a bit on that first repetition. There you go. And then the second one, not quite as efficient, like pressing overhead, but holding that weight over your head like that, I can tell you, it feels like somebody's trying to press you through the earth.
JF Caron out of Canada coming up next. He is another athlete like Aleksey Novikov who has already qualified for the Arnold Strongman Classic in March. He is the 2019 Arnold Classic Fort Warwick champion.
JF is a really intelligent man, actually has an academic background. And so he really thinks through these events. And just chatting with him yesterday, he really feels that these are good events to lead up to the Arnold, as they're heavy enough but not too heavy. He says, as he said, it's smart.
First attempt now for JF Caron. No one has been able to surpass 3 reps so far. And Caron struggling with the first.
A little surprised by that. He's actually quite good with pressing. A very experienced strongman.
Second attempt for JF Caron, and this one does count.
Good rep. This is when you look inside your soul. Where can I pull the energy out of my body to get this other repetition? That's the beauty of strongman. Finish it, lock it,
Caron
lock it.
trying to go for 2. That was his 3rd attempt. So you got to wonder where his energy level is at right now. He has just 1 successful repetition. Caron is just out of gas now, so he's done. So JF Caron made 4 attempts, got 1 successful repetition there. And certainly that first failed rep probably took a lot out of him.
Well, you don't know where he is in his training. I mean, he's coming here to compete, and maybe he's not peaked quite yet. He wants to peak at the Arnold Strongman Classic. A little disappointed last year he had an injury early. His repetition that he got, though, was quite good. He had a really efficient lift to his chest and got it over his head fairly quickly. I'm a bit surprised that he didn't get at least 2 reps.
So far, 3 men tied with 3 good reps. Gerry Pritchett, Wesley Claiborne, and Brian Shaw. Aleksey Novikov all by himself in second with 2 successful reps, and it's JF Caron with 1 as Matjaz Belsak steps up to the 380-pound Slater Log. Belsak is basically a lock to get to the Arnold Strongman Classic. He has 32 points in the standings. He's first and would really just need to have a ton of things go wrong here today in order for him not to be in Columbus, Ohio in March.
Again, this is a random pick start. They drew the names, so it's not necessarily the order of the better strongmen to start with. I'd be a little surprised if he doesn't get 2 or 3 reps, and that would put him in the driver's seat in the point standings.
Belsak has made 2 appearances so far at the Arnold Strongman Classic. His best finish was 5th last year as he goes for his first attempt, and that will count for the man from Slovenia.
He got it up to his chest okay, but a little bit out of the groove. I'd expect to see him push back a little more. In other words, tilt the log back and get his hands, get his elbows a little more perpendicular to the floor, and that puts you in a position to really push back with that log. And again, this is 385 pounds. This is hugely world class.
Yeah, Belsak more than halfway through his 60-second window, and this is his 2nd attempt. And Belsak is going to settle for 1 good rep. He and JF Caron now tied with 1 each. Belsak certainly took his time here. It was pretty clear he knew that this was not going to be his event. Just wanted to be as efficient as he possibly could.
So here he is. He comes up pretty efficient, but he's just wobbling. And I can tell you that feels like 1,000,000 pounds, and it just kind of chokes you out. You know, you hear about the Valsalva maneuver. You get lightheaded. You've got this enormous weight right high up on your chest. He did have good position, though. He had his elbows a little more perpendicular, and his hands were positioned to push back. He just didn't have the diesel to make it go over.
Eddie Williams out of Australia is next. Nicknamed the Tank.
He is a thick individual, coming from Australia, South Sea Island pedigree. But he's not going to sing his way out of this. He's got to perform. He's got to get that log over his head.
The first attempt for Eddie Williams, and if you are a fan of nationally televised talent shows, Eddie Williams was on America's Got Talent, the champions, and he lifted some Atlas stones and then sang, and he was really good.
He needs to get this log over his head. He cannot blank on this. That would put him way far back.
Second attempt here for Williams, and he can't lock that one out either. And he's going to finish without a successful repetition.
Well, I have to wonder if there was a little back issue, because he kind of bailed out. He just sort of said, I'm done, or he just hasn't had really good log pressing training recently.
Bill, what went wrong here with Eddie Williams?
Well, he does get the log up pretty quickly, but I think he has a low set on that. I think he should try to maybe get a little bit higher up. His elbows could be a little bit more perpendicular to the floor, and that'll put his hands in position to push back more efficiently.
Eddie Williams leaves without a successful repetition. Now Martins Licis is up next. Licis last year won this event. Looking to repeat that performance here, and he needs to, again, Martins Licis has to win this competition to earn a spot at the Arnold Strongman Classic. 3 reps, that's the score to beat. 3 men have done it so far.
If he gets 4 reps, this will put him in the driver's seat, because that'll put him near the bottom of the order on the next event, and he'll be able to gauge his competition. His handler there, great guy, strong man. They train together, and there's nothing to tell him. Just say, get out there, let's go, come on. Crank it up. Martins' mental strength is the best part of his game. He comes physically ready. Let's see how this shoulder holds up.
60 seconds for Martins Licis' first attempt. First one good for Martins Licis.
That looked great. A little wobbly on the first rep.
Right to work now on attempt number 2.
Well, there he goes.
2 for Martins Licis.
That was mental. That was his will. He didn't dump that. He just stayed under it. He's got to get this rep. He's got to stay in this pack.
This would tie him for the lead if he hits this lift. 3 for Martins Licis.
Best rep.
16 seconds to go. He's going to have to hurry now to take the outright lead in event number 1.
This will put him in the driver's seat. Does he have it? It's up.
Licis just can't quite lock it out, but he is tied for the lead in this event. The man that he is dueling with, Brian Shaw, also had 3. So far, no harm done to either one of those individuals.
No, and I think Gerry probably was a little disappointed to start off with. I know he probably wanted more, like 4 or 5 reps, but that's really holding water right now.
And Martins looked like he was a little faster with that log up to his chest.
Yes, he was, and I think being a little bit shaky, great pushing back. He was a little bit shaky when he got that first rep up. You also warm up on a different implement, so it's a little bit rounder, a little bit more narrow, and you have to gauge yourself. So that's why you're seeing better second reps out of the guys getting 3. And that was mental right there, just to stay underneath that and push it all the way through.
It's just been a challenge for these athletes.
Aleksey Kramer from the Netherlands is up next. And before he found Strongman, he was a tennis player from the age of 8 to 19 and then started competing in Strongman in 2009.
Well, being a good athlete is absolutely necessary. to be a great strongman. So I think that just speaks to his athleticism. Really tall. He looks bigger to me this year. Don't you think, Sean?
He didn't actually end up competing last year. I think he bowed out pretty early in the competition. He's listed at 6'4", 330 pounds, but you're right, he does look probably bigger than that as he gets to work here on his first attempt on that 380-pound Slater log.
He needs a rep.
And he's going to bail out of the first one.
I have to ask the question, do these guys do their homework with the log if they have difficulty with it at the top? But it is 385 pounds. I keep saying that, but it's truly a world-class weight.
Second attempt for Kramer, and he's not going to be able to get a successful lift, and he will exit the stage and hope he can improve in event number 2.
So basically, he had a pretty good clean to his chest. A little uncertain, gets it up, but he doesn't even get it over his face, which you've got to really get it over your nose with your hands in that position next to your head to have a chance to finish the press out. And that's where Martin's drawn his great experience. When he got it to that point, he was able to push back and finish it out. So unfortunately, I'd have to say that Kramer wasn't even close on that one.
A packed house here at the Santa Monica Pier for this Arnold Strongman USA competition. The final qualifier for the Arnold Strongman Classic in Columbus, Ohio in March, and that'll bring out Maxime Boudreault out of Canada.
Maxime's been around for a while. He was around in the about 7 or 8 years ago. Great grip strength.
First attempt for Maxime Boudreault, and that is no problem for him.
That was beautiful. That's what you want. Super quick to the chest, saving your energy to get it over your head, locking out. Referee gives him a down signal.
And immediately to number 3, this would tie him for the lead. And that is good, so Maxime Boudreault has plenty of time and may have plenty of gas left here. This is attempt number 4.
Yes.
And Boudreault will hit that, and he is your new leader in event number 1.
Wow. Okay, maybe he's the guy that's going to throw the lightning bolt on this whole thing, come out of nowhere.
Boudreault is tied for 7th with 9 total points. Going for 5, and Boudreault will hit it.
Nice. Love it.
Huge statement made early here by Maxime Boudreault.
I did not see that coming, I'll be honest with you.
We talked earlier about spoilers and monkey wrenches, and Maxime Boudreault early on looks to be just that.
I saw him early in his career, and he was really terrific, but I didn't see this coming, honestly.
Take a look at his last rep here.
Wow, so quick to his chest. One thing we haven't talked about, notice how he really threw his head back to finish that to the top. Sort of like when you do a clean or a snatch, when you throw your head back and develop that momentum at the top of the pull. Finish your pull. And that's something that a couple of guys haven't done, so they find themselves in bad position and start to press, but that was shoulder superiority, Sean.
That was Kelishkovsky-esque, like we saw him last year. Just grip that thing and rip through it. 5 good reps for Maxime Boudreault, solidly in the driver's seat here in the first of 5 events. And that'll bring up Rob Kearney. He has already qualified for the Arnold Strongman Classic. Did that as the 2019 Arnold Sports Festival Australia champion.
Well, 60 seconds separate him between starting fast and having a tough start. But he has had great training with the log. It wouldn't surprise me if he got 4 reps, possibly 5.
First attempt here for Rob Kearney out of the United States. 1 is easy for Kearney.
Easy. He's had great training with this implement, as we said. Super efficient. One of the shorter athletes, that's going to help him.
Second attempt is good for Rob Kearney. 40 seconds to go.
Absolutely perfect. Perpendicular upper arm to the floor. Lots of room to push
3.
back.
And he is now just halfway through his 60-second window.
Well, he's already qualified, but so he's here He's here because this is a professional competition. He's a professional. He wants to put out his best. Whoa.
And Kearney will hit 4.
A little bit of a jerk technique with that, throwing that leg back. That's legal.
Trying to tie Maxime Boudreault at 5. And Kearney does not look like he's going to get credit for it, but he is solidly in second place by himself. 4 good reps for Rob Kearney.
Fantastic effort. I mean, that was just as close as you can get to tie things up. But it still puts him in that top echelon going into the second event.
Rob Kearney started quickly and looked like he might have Maxime Boudreault in his sights.
And that was the repetition where he threw that leg back and got a little extra into it to get it over his head, to kind of like a jerk technique. He's done his homework and he's really strong. How close can you get?
Just didn't show enough control at the top to get credit for the rep, but
well, as an athlete, he's going to remember that repetition for the rest of his life.
More than the 4 that he hit.
Yes.
That last one kept him from a tie for first with Maxime Boudreault, but Rob Kearney now solidly in second place here in event number 1. Rauno Heinla out of Estonia is coming up next. 23 points, third place overall in the standings.
Rauno's good at this event. My recollection, every time I've seen him compete in log, he's pretty efficient to the chest.
First attempt for Rauno Heinla.
Excellent.
No problem.
Excellent. Static events are his forte.
Here's attempt number 2 for Heinla. And that is good.
Rauno Heinla, he could have 5.
Trying to chase down Gerry Pritchett. He trails Pritchett by 3 points in the standings to ensure himself a spot at the Arnold Strongman Classic. Heinla's got to finish ahead of Pritchett and leapfrog him in those standings. He has 3 good reps, so he has tied Pritchett's score right now.
Yes, and this is going to pan out because this will definitely, if he gets his 4th repetition, that puts him in the top 3 athletes that would go in the next event. Excellent. Oh,
Heinla's got to stabilize it.
Got it.
And he will get it, and that will count. So 4 good reps now for Rauno Heinla. 3 seconds to go. Doesn't look like he's going to have time for another attempt, but he does beat Gerry Pritchett.
Yes.
By 1 rep,
yes.
And he ties Rob Kearney for second in this event.
Precious repetitions, I'll tell you.
One more look at an impressive performance from Rauno Heinla.
Excellent to the chest, really, really efficient, pushes straight back, and then he's got the upper body strength of hang on to that weight, lock it out.
That will bring up Casey Garrison, who, like myself, Bill, attended San Francisco State University, so had a fellow alumni out there on the floor.
I believe he was a baseball player.
He did. He was drafted by, he played some ball. He was drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates. Never played for the pro organization, but he was in the minor leagues for 3 years. Played for the Macon Music, the Chico Outlaws, and the Long Beach Armada, and he finished with a career batting average of .290.
We'll see if he can use his athleticism here. I know he's really great with strength endurance events. Let's see if he's good with this log.
Garrison, another athlete like Sean Licis, who's got to win this whole competition to get to the Arnold Strongman Classic. He is the final athlete to go here. This is his first attempt. And the first rep is good.
That's quite good. That automatically puts him up with several of the other athletes. A second repetition will be terrific here. That would put him at least in the top half and no further than the second half of the athletes likely.
Garrison out of Redding, California.
He sets himself, he's pacing himself to get 2 reps. Mentally, he had 2 reps in his head.
Second attempt misses the press. So Garrison now starting to run out of time. 1 good rep so far.
He's going to set himself up, try to get it to his chest quickly, run out of time. This is it.
The final attempt
Up and back.
And Claiborne's not going to be able, or Garrison, pardon me, he's not going to be able to get it. So Garrison leaves the floor with one good rep. And with that, we are done with event number 1. And it's going to be Maxime Boudreault. No one really saw that one coming.
No, we didn't. And I love it. I love to see
number 1.
That. Okay, so Garrison gets it up to his chest pretty quickly. But just cannot get it up over his face. And that's the idea. You got to get it over your head. But he did get a repetition.
So one good rep for Casey Garrison. But it was Maxime Boudreault who kind of came out of nowhere here and just ripped through 5 repetitions. One more look at his winning performance here.
He was the fastest to his chest. I mean, minus watching the athlete who just put it right overhead, but he's very efficient to the chest. A lot of upper body strength, the ability to lock out like that. But again, a lot of this is really centered in the middle of your body. I'm sure if I talked to him, he would have a lot to say about what he's done to make his midsection really strong. There we go.
And that was the final rep.
Wow, that is unbelievable.
That was 4, pardon me. He looked so good. And then on 5,
he looked better. He had his groove. He had his hands in front of him. That was terrific.
Maxime
what a great
Boudreault
effort.
wins the event. He is with Margot Alvarez.
And the crowd was electric. How do you keep that momentum going forward?
The guys better be ready because I'm going for that final place. That last spot for Ohio, I'll be there.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to watch you. Congratulations again. Look forward to watching you in the next 4 events.
Perfect. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys. Back to you.
Thanks, Margot. Maxime Boudreault still trying to catch his breath after 5 good reps at 380 pounds. So a surprising start here to the Arnold Strongman USA.
Very surprising. And I really expected Boudreault to have a strong farmer's walk and probably a sandbag. Long athlete. He's Canadian, so he'll have a great grip. The Canadians are just always big, rugged fellows with great grips. So I expected to see those events, but I did not see that coming. I didn't really talk to him about his pressing training as much. So I really feel that was a surprise, and that's what we're here for. We want to see a surprise. We want to see somebody come out with a supreme effort.
One event down here at the Arnold Strongman USA, and it's Maxime Boudreault who's going to find himself atop the overall leaderboard at this event. We're going to step aside, take a quick break. The fittest firefighters are going to be out on the floor competing. You can be able to watch that. We'll take a break. We're going to be back with you for event number 2, the Farmer's Walk. So keep it right here on the Rogue Iron Game.